Hello, Mayday. This is Benjamin Singer, the campaign manager for Mayday Pack, mayday.us, and we'll be getting started in a few minutes. We'll just wait for citizens to join us and start when we have a critical mass. In the meantime, please take the chance to watch the trailer that Larry recorded specifically for the town hall so that you can get a sense of what we're up to. Sorry, for those folks who are watching on YouTube, please feel free to click the link that should be displaying on the YouTube video to join the Hangout itself. We would love for you to join us in as personal and interactive a way as possible. So you should have that banner ad on your YouTube video. Go ahead and give it a click, and I'll talk to you momentarily. Looks like we have 7 viewers. We're up to 8 viewers now. That's great. All right, we are up to 10 viewers, so I'm going to bring my partner in crime, Rebecca, onto the call. She is a super volunteer and really vital member of Team Mayday. And we'll plan to get started at 5 after. I know we want this to be a brief call, make the most of everyone's time. If you, again, would love for you to join the Hangout itself, click the link so that we can talk directly. All right, we're going to get started since we have 10 people on the call. Again, my name is Benjamin Singer. I'm the campaign manager for Mayday Pack, mayday.us, the super PAC to end all super PACs. We're so grateful for the support of citizens like you. Last year, I was a supporter. I was a citizen who was involved and contributed in the way that I was able to the launch of Mayday in 2014. And so it's a real honor to be the campaign manager this year and to move us together as close as we can to a majority in Congress supporting fundamental reform of the way campaigns are funded before 2016. I want to give everyone a quick update as to where the campaign is right now. We are trying to make these calls, and I want us to all make these calls together on this Google Hangout. Great. It looks like we have one person joining us on the Hangout itself. Hi there. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Bradley from Alexandria, Virginia.
Hey, Bradley. Thanks for calling in.
Sure
It looks
thing.
like we have several folks who are just watching on YouTube. Um, and so, Bradley, do you want to just tell everyone why you got involved in Mayday?
Well, I've been involved in a lot of work with Creative Commons and open educational resources for the last couple of years, and have followed Larry's work, and originally from New Hampshire, so was very interested in some of the work that had been done up there, so that's why I'm on tonight.
That's great. Yeah, the New Hampshire Rebellion has really been a great force on this issue, and obviously really important given that it's in a presidential state. So, so that's awesome. I would encourage others who are watching this to click that link on YouTube, call in the way Bradley did. Bradley, did that link that I just sent out to the group, is that what helped you get into the Hangout
The one
itself?
that just came out, yeah.
All right, so if anyone else is watching this, check your email again. I just sent out another link that might be helpful to get into the Hangout itself. Let me just double check that the YouTube page is actually displaying the banner ad that's supposed to be helping everyone get into the call. And I know for Google Hangouts is you have to install a plugin, so definitely understand if folks would rather just watch on YouTube. Yeah, so I'm at the YouTube link, and you can click that, be part of the conversation, and that should bring you into the Hangout. Oh, I see. It takes you to a page where you can actually be part of it. All right. Well, check that email, get that link, join the conversation. So, Bradley, have you had a chance to make calls yet with Team Mayday?
I have made one or two, but not very many.
All right. And what was that experience like? Can you tell everyone?
I went to voicemail.
Oh, yeah? When was this?
So was able to do the script and leave the message, but not much other than that.
Right. And who do you remember who you left a message for?
Actually, there was a representative in Maine, and then also I just sort of called our local reps to affirm, even though they're all on board now.
Okay, that's great. And when was this?
About a week, 10 days ago, when the first call for callers came out.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for doing that. For those who are watching, just posted the link to join. I'm posting the link to join on the Google Plus Hangout page. All right, great. We've got several folks here. Thanks, guys, for calling in. Let's just do a quick round of intros before we make these calls together. We've got Cheryl.
Hi.
Hey there. Want to introduce yourself to folks just briefly, how you got involved in Mayday and if you've made any calls yet?
I have not made any calls yet. I'm brand new to this endeavor, and my interest is related as I work in the environmental field. And so we're just sort of hitting a brick wall in the environmental movement when it comes to the impact that campaign finance is having on our ability to enforce and implement environmental laws. So I'm eager to learn how I can get involved in this, because it's sort of the root of the problem, as Lawrence Lessing would put it. So.
Absolutely. And what way are you experiencing that specifically in the environmental movement?
Well, when we go to DC to meet with members on environmental policies and issues, they, for example, in the Great Lakes region, horizontal hydrofracking is becoming a big issue, but it's been exempt from the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the Safe Drinking Water Act, pretty much all of the environmental policies, because they've been essentially bought out.
Right.
By big money, by big donors, and so it doesn't matter how much work I do on horizontal hydrofracking if we can't even have the laws in place to protect our air and water. So
right,
that's the kind of impact we're seeing.
That's how I came to this movement too. So thank you for taking action, for thinking through it and taking action. All right, we also have Raphael on the call. Raphael, welcome. How'd you get involved in Mayday, and did you get a chance to make any calls yet?
No, I haven't made any calls yet. I just saw some how to do it actually last night, so I need to exercise that.
Okay, great.
That process. I got involved in Mayday actually. I'm semi-retired, and in 2012, after voting for 40 years, I tried to access my legislators, my immediate senators and representatives here in South Florida. And I saw that I wasn't getting anywhere. And after a while, I got cynical. And actually, I was too naive as to what was going on.
Right.
And what actually got me started in Mayday was watching the TED Talks that were done. They were very inspiring. Initially, I was skeptical, but then I finally said, let's use the system as it is today and see if we can make changes accordingly. So that's why I got involved in Mayday, because actually the leader is very inspiring. So let's try to use the system.
Absolutely.
Let's make the calls. I see how it's done right now. I need to exercise that and actually practice the script. But I think what I didn't quite get exactly who were we going to call, if there was going to be a specific list that needed to.
Okay.
We need to get to.
Okay, great. That's a good question. We'll go. We can go over that. What the calls are, who's on this list of calls, and how we do that. All right. So let's just. It's great. We've got a lot of people joining us. So let's keep it moving. Just finish this quick round of intros, so we can get into those questions and into making these calls and letting you guys know what's next in the campaign. All right, Sarah, thanks for calling in. Want to introduce yourself to everyone, how you got involved in Mayday, and if you've had the chance to make any calls yet?
Like the others, I haven't had any time to make calls. I didn't even know really about making calls until this event, so thanks for organizing it.
Great.
I also became aware of this through the TED Talks, and when I heard Lessig say that basically we can't get anything else to happen that needs to happen until we fix this, that really hit home for me. I work sort of related to the environmental movement. I work on broad issues of impact management, so helping our clients recognize their social and environmental impact and helping them to manage it and value it. And so that kind of is the impact investing and the social enterprise movement. And at a certain point last year, I was realizing that if we don't get rid of this corruption that is undermining our system in the United States, what I do won't work. So I decided that if there was one other thing that I would work on, it would be this. And I have a job, and I don't have a lot of time to do this, so I'm just sort of plugging in where I can.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, we want to make the most of your time, and so hopefully this will help make some impact with that limited time. All right, we've got Tim on the phone. Thanks again, Sarah. Tim, do you want to let everyone know how you got involved in Mayday and if you've gotten a chance to make any calls yet?
I've not made any calls yet. I got involved in Mayday, I think, when the first round was it for this first election, I donated a couple times to it to try to support it. And I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the great state of Scott Walker, where we've got the Koch brothers in full effect. So we've got on the ground campaign. We've got funding coming in from all over the country into our state. So that's how I got involved, was just donating to that and seeing what's going on. And it seems like at the root of all the issues, I tend to work in like the community development space. There's a lot of concentrated poverty in a place like Milwaukee, a Rust Belt city, and so it's just the politics aren't working and something's got to give. So that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for doing it. All right, we've got a few more folks. Thanks again, Tim. Michael, quickly, how you got involved in Mayday. And again, it's all right, everyone, if you haven't made any calls yet. That's why we're here. So, Michael, how you got involved and if you've made any calls. Sorry for the dog barking, by the way.
No problem. Sorry for the camera angle. I can't get the camera situated straight here. But yeah, I think I just heard about it at some point last year. I don't know if it was Twitter or something like that. But no, I haven't made any calls yet. But I'm anxious to contribute.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. All right, just two more, I think. Antonio, welcome. Thanks for calling in. How'd you get involved, and have you had a chance to make any calls yet?
No, like most people, I haven't really made any calls yet. I think I've donated a few bucks as well, but I haven't really done anything yet. And I kind of came here hoping to get some more information on what else I can do and who I'm supposed to call.
Awesome. Makes sense. And what about this issue spoke to you?
I'm sorry, what?
What was it that brought you to this issue? Why do you believe we need to fundamentally reform the way our campaigns are funded?
It's just the corruption is horrible, and then there's so many things disregarded for people that something needs to be done. It's that simple.
Agreed. All right, we've got Don on as well. Thanks, Antonio. Don, why don't you let everyone know about yourself? Go for it.
Okay, thank you. I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Larry Lessick is a local talent, and I've always been a big admirer of his. I've made calls in the past, I suppose, but if you're asking about calls today, no. I've just managed to get online, which was a steep climb. My reasons for doing this thing are the same as everybody else's. I mean, it's abundantly clear that we won't have a democracy back until we are paying for it ourselves.
Well, thank you for being here. Thanks everyone for sharing. I appreciate it. I think it was worth the time. I'm going to hand it over now, actually, to Rebecca Arrington, who is, well, Rebecca, you can introduce yourself and take it from here. Oh, Rebecca, I think you're still on mute.
Thanks, Benj. Hi. Yeah, my name is Rebecca Arrington, and I am a Mayday volunteer. I am the help desk coordinator. I'm one of two women who answer your emails. And I also have been doing a lot with this calling campaign, just little odds and ends. So anyway, Benj, did we want to go ahead and show them the call tool?
Let's jump right into it. That's why we're here, and that's how we're going to make a difference. Yeah, why don't you just introduce folks to the calling campaign in general, and then how it works.
Okay. Well, the calling campaign, as you know, we need so many votes to pass legislation, and in order to pass legislation in Congress, we actually need 70 more to get it passed, which, you know, is challenging, but not as many as you would think. So that's really exciting. And we've identified 47 representatives who we think, and actually the community reached out and told us who you thought would be good people to good potential leaders. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you the call tool. What we're going to be doing is calling these 47 people.
And luckily, the call tool makes it really easy. You know, you won't have to dial every number. You won't have to memorize any names. And so, excited that we're all going to get a chance to do it together. And if everyone wants to, while Rebecca's sharing this, everyone want to grab your phones, you'll get a chance to try it yourself.
Okay, is everything showing up all right? Benj?
Looks good to me.
Okay, good. All right, so So we're going to be calling these 47 people. Now, if your representative has not currently signed on to support a piece of reform legislation that would fundamentally change the way campaigns are funded, then when you call, the first person who will come up will be your representative. But we're calling all of these people, not just our own reps. So the way the call tool works is, first of all, you see over here in this box in the upper right-hand corner, you want to type in your phone number, and then you will type in your zip code.
And so how do people get to this? What's the address for this page?
Oh, I'm sorry, Benj. It's mayday.us/call. Or you could go back to the main page, and from Take Action, click on Take Action, and you can go through all of these actions, but to call Congress, you go ahead and click there, and you would enter your phone number and your zip code here and call Congress. And then also there is a little How It Works page, which shows you how to do that. So
are
gives you the same
folks,
instructions.
have folks been able to get onto the page yet, mayday.us/call or mayday.us/takeaction? I see some nodding.
You know, this is Cheryl. I'm brand new to this, so this is all brand new for me. So I appreciate you walking through it.
Oh, no problem. We're happy to do that. So going back to this page, phone number, zip code, and you click Call Congress. Now, when you click Call Congress, our system will actually call the phone number that you entered, and your phone will ring, and when you answer, it will connect you to the first representative on your list. The representatives, you will see them listed. We do 5 at a time, and the first representative on the list will be the first person you're connected to. So you will be connected to the rep's office, and if it's during the daytime, then a member of their staff will answer, and then you'll want to go ahead and speak to them. And we do have a sample script. You can see over here, number 4. You don't have to stick to this script. This is just there for people to give you an idea of what to say, and also, you know, some people haven't done these calls before, and they feel more secure having a script. So feel free to use it or just use it as a guide. Now, if you call during the evening or the weekend, you probably won't get anyone there, but you can go ahead and leave a voicemail. And we definitely encourage you to do that, although we've noticed that so many people have been calling that sometimes these representatives' voicemails are full. So just if you can't get to them, just please try back another time. And now once you've completed your call, you're going to hit star to disconnect, and there will be some pre-recorded voice prompts, and you'll follow the prompts, and basically it will ask, you'll be asked if you were able to successfully connect. And what that means was, were you able to speak to someone live, or were you at least able to leave a message? And if the answer is no, then you'll click the appropriate, you'll press the appropriate number on your phone. So you'll follow the prompts, and then there'll be just a little bit of downtime, and it will take you on to the next representative on your list.
When I've been making calls, I find the key button to have my thumb over is the star button, because that's how you start or stop any of your calls, and you'll see that here in step 5.
Definitely, and you should know that if you make a couple calls and you have to go somewhere, but you want to come back to it later, when you come back, and as long as you're logging in with the same phone number, our system will recognize that, and it won't call the person that you've called before. It'll pick up right where you left off. And we do have there are 5 bills, 5 proposals that would, each and every one of them would provide public funding for elections. And so any of these, we would be thrilled to see these representatives sign on to support. And that's pretty much it for the call tool.
So should we do a sample call for folks, Rebecca?
I think that would be great.
All right. Would you like to do it?
Yeah, sure. I am just ending my screen share here.
And for anyone who wants to just jump on into it, go ahead and you can mute the computer. But Rebecca will talk us through the process.
Exactly.
And so once you get familiar, then you can go ahead and start doing it yourself. And if there are any questions, that's why we are here doing this together for the first time. Feel free to use the group chat, or or talk to us.
So I have a question. This is Cheryl. How many members do you have you, since this started, brought on in support of one of these pieces of legislation? Just ballpark.
That's a great question. So we just launched the campaign officially a couple weeks ago, and the calls have really been just getting started. I think people are really getting used to the tool, and that's one reason we wanted to do this Make Calls with Team MAYDAY, because we felt like we wanted that support. Sometimes, the idea of calling Congress, just getting connected with your phone can be intimidating. So actually, two more, right when we were launching this campaign, two more members of Congress came on between the time that we soft launched in March and then launched this platform at the beginning of May. So we're up to 148 members of the House of Representatives, and we're expecting, this is something I want to share with you guys later, but we are expecting a Senate bill to be reintroduced any day. So we're up to 148, which is just about a third of Congress, and we need 70 more for a majority. So a couple more have come on, like I said, in the last couple months. But I think once we ramp these calls up and drive, several hundred more calls, there are a few more things we're going to do with the campaign. I'll share those with you after we do these calls. We're going to start seeing a lot of traction.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, are there any more questions before we jump into the calling?
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a sample call.
Great.
Okay, so I entered my phone number and zip code before, and I should mention, it's written on the page, but we do respect your privacy, and your phone number will not be shared with any third party. So I'm going to click the big red button, Call Congress, and just a second, I will be called.
And Rebecca, will you share your screen and what that looks like?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hold on a second.
I think Congress is calling you.
I know. I'm not answering the call. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. I'm a little technologically challenged. It's a small miracle I made it on here tonight. Okay. Okay. All right. Have you seen everything? Hold on just a second, Ben.
Do you want to put it on speakerphone so we can hear the prompt?
Yeah, hold on a second. I need to... I've never not picked up before, so I need to figure out what to do.
Oh, just go ahead and refresh. This is actually a good teaching moment, too. I mean, you can refresh and re-enter.
Hi, my name is Michael Sesser, and I am calling with Mayday.us. And I'm asking specifically for you to be a leader in the fight to restore our republic to the people. And so what that means is we need support in 5.
So we heard Michael making his call. So that's great, but I would still love for those who want to listen into a sample call to be able to hear the prompts, so you know what you're going to get. So Rebecca, are you ready to do that?
Yeah, I will. I just need a second because you have to enter your phone number, and I think you're putting this on YouTube, right? I'd really rather not broadcast my cell phone over the internet, so just give me 1 second, and I'm going to turn my camera.
All right, Rebecca, I've hidden you from the broadcast so people are not seeing your cell phone number. Tell you what, I'll do this if that's all right with you. Call 1 done. Great job, Tim. Tim just chatted in the group chat that he did his group call. All right, so I will share my screen and I will do a sample call for those folks who want that. Sorry for the delay, guys. Alrighty. The world will know my phone number. Here we go. right, so here we are. And my zip. And when I answer, I'll put my phone on speaker. All right, I'm pressing star.
We are now connecting you to the senator who has yet to sponsor reform. Press star at any time to disconnect from your legislator. This is Senator Mark Kirk. Thank you for contacting our Washington, D.C. office. My staff and I are ready to assist you. To leave a comment for me about issues or legislation, please press 1. For information about your opinions matter to me a great deal. After the tone, please leave your comments along with your name, address, phone number, and email address. And our office will get back to you as soon as possible.
Hi, Senator Kirk. This is Benjamin Singer. I'm a voter in Chicago, and I would love for you to be a leader in the fight to restore our republic to the people and end the system of corruption in Washington, D.C. We really need you, as our senator, to support legislation to change the way members of Congress raise money for their campaigns. There are 5 Republican and Democratic proposals, including the Civic Act introduced by Representative David Joyce, Republican of Ohio, in last year's session. You can see the full list of proposals at repswithus, that's repswith.us, and I hope you'll please consider supporting one of these bills. Thank you so much. I hit star to end my call, and I'm pressing 1 since I was able to leave a message.
That was your first call. 4 more to go. Press star to connect to your legislator. Press star to connect.
Oh, I didn't press star to connect to my legislator. There we go.
We are now connecting you to a representative who has yet to sponsor reform. Press star at any time to disconnect from your legislator.
All right, so this one should be connecting to David Joyce, since he's the next one on the list.
Thank you for calling the office of Congressman David P. Joyce. Unfortunately, the office is currently closed. Please feel free to leave a message for the congressman. Thank you for calling. We appreciate your feedback.
Sorry, cannot leave a message now because this user's mailbox is full. To access your mailbox.
Mailbox is full. That's a good sign. All right, so I'm going to press star to end this call. I'm not going to hang up.
How did that call go? Press 1 if you were able to speak to someone or leave a message. Press 2 if you weren't able to.
I'm pressing 2 now because I was not able to connect. Not able to leave a message.
That was your second call. 3 more to go. Press star to connect.
All right, so I think you generally get the idea of how this works. If you want to mute your computer and start making calls, go for it. You can go to mayday.us/call. I'm going to push star to connect to my next legislator.
We are now connecting you to a representative who yet to sponsor reform. Press star at any time to disconnect from your legislator.
Looks like Sarah was able to make several calls. That's great. And you want a rundown of the bills. So I'm going to make one more call, and then I'm going to focus on answering you guys' questions. But you should keep making calls and let me know if you have any questions about them.
How did that call go? Press 1
Oh,
if you were able
I
to
didn't
speak
get
to someone
connected.
or leave a message. Press 2 if you weren't able to connect.
So I'm going to push 2, and now I'm going to hang up
That was your third call.
so I can focus on you guys.
Cool. Vince, do you want me to mute my microphone or do another sample call?
Go ahead, do some sample calls for folks.
Great.
And if anyone wants to make a sample call, also just let us know in the chat, and we'll present you.
Pressing star.
Now connecting you to a representative who has yet to sponsor reform. Press star at any time to disconnect from your legislator.
Thank you for calling the office of Congressman Bruce Poliquin, representing Maine's 2nd Congressional District. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to speak with you. Our office hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Please leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, we encourage you to visit our website, poliquin.house.gov, where you can find information about our main services, constituent services, and issues that are most important to the 2nd District.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I'm asking Bruce Poliquin to be a leader in the fight to restore our republic to the people. We need Mr. Poliquin to support legislation to change the way members of Congress raise money for their campaigns. There are 5 Republican and Democratic proposals. You can see the list at repswith.us. Will Mr. Poliquin please consider supporting one of those bills? Thank you.
How did that call go? Press 1 if you were able to speak to someone and leave a message.
I pressed star. It asked me how it went, and I'm pressing 1 now.
That was your first call. 4 more to go. Press star to connect with your legislator. We are now connecting you to a representative who has yet to sponsor reform. Press star at any time to disconnect from your legislator. Thank you for calling the office of Congressman David P. Jewett. Unfortunately, the office is currently closed. Please feel free to leave a message for the congressman. Thank you for calling. We appreciate your feedback.
Sorry, you cannot leave a message now because the user's mailbox is full.
Oh. Representative Joyce his mailbox is full, so pressing 2.
Valid entry for help, press star H. To access your mailbox, press star.
How did that call go? Press 1. That was your
So,
second.
Rebecca, I think there are some questions folks have, and I'd like to
Sure.
take the opportunity to address some of these things.
Absolutely.
For anyone who's listening in, and Rebecca, you're welcome to keep making calls if you want. So for folks who are listening in, still watching, this tool will take you through, as Rebecca alluded to, all 47 potential leaders for reform, as well as your own representative, who's if they're not a leader for reform. So it's possible that it could take you to as many as 49 people, even 50, if both of your senators and your member of the House of Representatives are not a leader for reform. So if you stay on, you'll get a chance to talk to, if it's during the day, or leave messages at night for all of these folks. And if you call back in, it'll actually pick up right where you left off. So I see some questions coming in. I saw Sarah said that this has been a great experience. Cool to meet other folks who are concerned and engaged. Tim was able to make a bunch of calls. Dr. Bradley said, you're doing fine with this. I'm going to go call from a more comfy chair. And Dr. Bradley, another question I see from you. Oh, you're still on, Doctor. Do you want to ask the question so the group can hear you?
Sure. Basically, my concern would be this. If I'm not a voter in their district, why should they care that I'm calling? The one person I got that was actually a live human being, clearly when I gave them my zip code, the level of interest and attention and the fact that I called dropped precipitously.
That's a great question. You know, a lot of times it depends on the congressional office. For most of the calls I've made where I've gotten to speak with someone, they don't ask. I think a lot of members of Congress care generally what's hot, what do citizens care about. You know, that's something that can translate nationally, even if you're not a voter in their district. Obviously, they do get elected by their own voters, so you know, probably any member of Congress is going to care more if you are a constituent, frankly, as they should. You know, that's their job. So it's a good question, but we definitely have found with some congressional offices that added pressure just from hearing from a sheer volume of people is something that can still help move the needle. There is another tool that I'll brief you guys on as part of our sneak peek at other campaign plans that we are doing to specifically drive more voters, more actual constituents to make calls. Let's go through this call tool and any remaining questions, and then I'll let you in on how what action we're taking for that specifically. If anyone else has a question, feel free to enter right here in the chat that's on the right side, or if you can't see it, you can actually click the chat button, which is at the top left of your window. It's the blue icon that looks like a speech bubble.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, Rebecca.
Do you mind if I chime in for 1 second about Dr. Bradley's question?
Please do.
That was a concern that I had in the beginning too, but you know, it's not something that's really been traditionally asked of people to call representatives that aren't your own. But the fact is we've seen it used very successfully. For example, if any of you are familiar with the Fight for the Future campaign, the campaign to secure net neutrality and keep net neutrality, that was a tactic that they used, and it was incredibly successful. So it's because as long as we have the volume coming in, we're giving these people a constant reminder, whether they're your reps or not, they're hearing every day about this issue from someone. And we think that has value. I do, anyway.
Great point. Rebecca, was there anything else you wanted to share about this, about the call tool? Because I know it can be complicated, and I think a lot of folks want to know sort of additional context of the legislation and the strategy here.
Sure. Well, I mean, there are different. There are different pieces of legislation. Obviously, some are Democratic, some are Republican. If you're calling a Democrat, they're going to be more likely to sign on to the Democratic bill. A Republican, more likely the Republican bill. But the one thing that every single one of these pieces of legislation has is it provides for public funding of elections. And basically, Dr. Lessig's premise is, and it's something that we all subscribe to, is that right now, our representatives aren't paying much attention to us because they're paying attention to the funders of their campaigns. So if the people then become the funders, then that's a great way to get their attention, because we have more control over them keeping their jobs, not just with our votes, but also with our money. So that's just really the one important thing that they all have in common. I really can't think of anything extra to highlight about any of them, unless there's something that you were thinking of. Oh, Ben, you're on mute.
Yes, I just saw that. That's it from me. You mentioned Larry Lessig, and I was wondering if the folks on the call got a chance to see the video that that Larry recorded for this town hall. I made it the trailer so that when you started it, you were supposed to see it. Did anyone not get a chance to see that because he specifically recorded it for you guys?
I didn't see it.
You did get a chance to see it?
No.
Oh, Antonio, you didn't get to see it. All right.
No.
It's really brief, so I'll pull it up now. I'll pull that up and I'll share it. Oh, Tim, thank you. Thanks. Enjoy your dinner. Okay, so yeah, I'll pull it up, and while I'm doing that, I will say, there was a question that came in from Sarah about, what are these different pieces of legislation? How many people are supporting them? How many do we need for each of them? So it's a good question, and Rebecca, do you want to answer that sort of meta question, or would you like me to?
Could you repeat the question? I'm not sure I totally understood it.
Yeah, our question was, what are these different pieces of legislation, and how many people are supporting each of them? And I was gonna answer that.
Yeah, well, I don't know the exact numbers for every single bill except for the Government by the People Act, which is H.R. 20. That is Representative Sarbanes' bill, and that is by far the most likely to get passed, and by far it has the most support. The other bills, frankly, they're all very poorly supported at this time.
Yeah, and the goal here is the goal is not necessarily to get a majority of Congress to sign on to any one of these proposals. As Rebecca said, Republicans are more likely to sign on to the Republican approach. Democrats are more likely to sign on to the Democratic bill. What we want is a majority of Congress who are signed on to one of these. Because once we have a majority of Congress agreeing that there's a problem and agreeing that there's a solution on the table, that's when we can start to make progress. The example I always like to point to is the bipartisan tax reform in the 1980s. Democrats had a bill they piled onto, Republicans had a bill they piled onto, and in the end they were able to compromise with pieces that one side liked or the other side liked. But the bottom line was that we ended up with a more fair tax system, and at least in the minds of folks who were passing that at the time. So I want to try to show this video that Larry recorded for everyone, for the folks who haven't had a chance to see it. So let me see if I can do that for you, and let me know if you have any issues with that.
There's no sound coming from it at all.
I can't hear anything.
Oh.
Yeah, Ben, there's no volume.
Yeah.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. The YouTube plugin for this changed.
Hello, Mayday. This is Larry Lessig. I'm.
Can you still not hear it?
Random hotel room in.
You can hear it, but it's not in sync with the picture.
Good this week to give 2 lectures, and I hope I'm asleep by the time you have your town hall meeting. So.
So that wasn't in sync?
Mm-mm.
Sorry, guys. Well, that's no good. Well, when we get off this call, I recommend folks go back to that Hangout page and click on the trailer link to see it. Antonio left 4 out of 5 messages. Raphael left 3 out of 5 messages. Tim left 4 out of 5. Seems like we've had a very successful calling session. All right, so I'll try to queue up this Larry video for the end of the call, but in the meantime, I do want to get the input from those who are still on the call on the next steps of the campaign. Rebecca, did you have anything else you wanted to share about the rep call tool before we move on?
Not the rep call tool. Other than if you are shy about talking to these representatives, definitely call night and evenings to get those voicemails. If that's something that would prohibit you or anyone you know from making a lot of calls, then that's the way to go.
That's right. Nights and weekends, you won't have to talk to a human being. But if you like talking to human beings like I do, you can call during the day.
Exactly. That's better.
All right. Yeah. So all right, so moving on. I want to let you guys know what else is happening with the campaign. What else are we doing? Thank you, Antonio. What else are we doing to get a majority in Congress? Sorry for the phone ringing, by the way. So I have some notes that I want to use to let you guys know what else we're working on. So right now we've actually generated several hundred calls to Congress. We need a lot more. So that's been the core of our campaign, and that's why we're here tonight. So thank you for participating, and we really all need to keep calling. Like I said, there are 47 key members who can put us within striking distance of getting a majority. That is going to be key. So that again, that's the core of our campaign, and thank you for being part of that. But we've got a couple other things going on too. So there was a question from Dr. Bradley about members of Congress hearing from their own voters, their own constituents. And so for those who've been involved and been signing up for a lot of volunteer activities, you might have gotten an email about this voter call tool that we're testing. And this is a chance for us to get more citizens to talk to their own member of Congress. So what happens is volunteers use this call tool, and Rebecca and Rachel have been running these trainings. And it connects them with voters in these key districts. And if the voter is interested in the issue and willing to leave a message or speak with their member of Congress, we can patch them through directly to that congressional office. So that's something that we've started and we're testing. We have a lot more people signed up and working on that this week. And for anyone who's working on who's made it through these 47 calls and wants to do something more, we would love to have your help on this voter call tool. Another thing we're trying is, that Mayday has never done before, is actually meeting with members of Congress and giving citizens the chance to, to personally lobby your member of Congress and ask them to sign on as a leader for reform. Again, to get us closer to a majority so that come election time, we're within striking distance of a majority in Congress. So we are working in a few districts to see if we can pull together a meeting. One of those is the 9th District in Arizona. That's Representative Kirsten Sinema. Another is we've got 2 California districts actually, the 18th and the 37th. And I can pull up what those are. We have the 6th District in Massachusetts, which is Representative Seth Moulton. And we have the 2nd District in Nebraska. And so if you know anyone who, who might be in those areas, we would love to have them involved. We would love for to get in these meetings. So specifically, those members of Congress, their names are the 18th of California is Congresswoman Anna Eshoo, and the 37th District in California is Karen Bass. The 2nd District in Nebraska is Brad Ashford, and as I said, Kirsten Sinema is in Arizona. And then Ryan Zinke is the 6th one. He's the congressman from Montana. So if you think you might know someone in one of those districts, let me know. We can figure out if they are in that district based on what city they live in. And so that's one more thing we're working on right now. And then we're starting a letter to the editor campaign. We're working on that in one district right now, and if you're interested in writing a letter to the editor in your own district, calling out your own member of Congress if they are not a leader for reform yet, we'd be interested in that. So do let me know. Feel free to send me an email. You all have my email address, or post on social media. We would love to work with you. We've been putting together a guide that Mayday citizens can use. So I'm interested in feedback from those who are still on the call. What do you think right now of the Mayday campaign? As we get closer to 2016 and we're working to put ourselves within striking distance of electing a majority for reform. How have you felt about the campaign so far? What you've been hearing from us? Is it clear what we're doing? And how do you feel about the action steps that we're asking you to take? So Raphael, Don, feelings, thoughts, concerns, compliments?
Can you hear me, or do I have to key in?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. I think the tool is great. and it turns out that when you first put it up to test a couple of or 3 weeks ago, I actually called all the people I called tonight. I didn't realize that I was ganging up on them, but I got through to 3 of 5, and that was fun. I personally prefer to talk to real people than to talk to recordings. My mic fright is less when I'm talking to people than to machines. So I'm on board. I think this
Great.
is, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. So yeah, I guess just keep calling during the day, and it's all right if you've already talked to people. You know.
Yeah, they don't know it because I don't think they're taking notes.
It's true. They may not take that level of detail in their notes, but also, you know, the folks who help members of Congress win or lose elections are, you know, the types of people who are going to be calling in multiple times because they feel strongly. And so it really matters. You know, if a few people have a lot of energy, that's something that can be really encouraging or really threatening. So it's a way to do it. Raphael, thoughts?
Yeah, I make the calls. The demo was good because I was not initiated yet in the process. So I went ahead. I was able to get to 3 out of the 5. The answering machine did not answer. So it was a good start. I will continue calling now that I know how it is done, and go forward. And I agree with the other member in the call here. I think it's better to talk to someone. And looking at the script, actually, since that the link that's provided, I have to spell it out every time. Maybe there's a way that there's a link where we can send this information directly to the congressman too, also, because I have to spell it out every time. I know that's why it is. But it'd be nice to talk to someone personally, and I do that. I have some time during the day. I do that so I can actually, if they are taking notes, they can actually look at the link and see. They should be aware, actually. And that's a question that I have. Do you believe they are somewhat aware of these proposals?
They actually received a letter. They've received a letter now, haven't they, Benj, or have they not?
Yeah, their chiefs of staff will have received a letter from Larry and from Mark. Sent a letter to these members of Congress, both an email and a physical snail mail letter. The thing is, you know, it depends who's taking these calls. You know, it's possible it's an intern or a legislative aide. And, you know, these members of Congress are inundated with, you know, with advocacy calls and emails from, you know, hundreds and thousands of groups. So, so the more calls we make, it really makes a difference. There's really no point at which it is enough or too much. So, but yeah, they have someone in the office, the chief of staff, has received an email, and someone opened a letter. So, but a couple of these proposals have been introduced into the House this session, but the other proposals have not yet been introduced into the House or the Senate. And so, if you're wondering, you know, why no, we're not talking about the Senate, it's because none of these proposals have been reintroduced yet. So it's hard to know who is already a leader and who is not. At this point, you know, no one in the Senate is a leader. Oh, Rebecca, I think we lost you. But you know, the information is important. And the most effective type of call to Congress mentions a specific piece of legislation, particularly one that's already been introduced or proposed. So if you want to mention one of those that have already been proposed, especially if you're talking to a Democratic office, because the ones that have been proposed in this session are Democratic. There was one Republican one last session that you might have heard me mention on my call with Senator Kirk's office. You know, if you want to mention a specific piece of legislation that you like or that you think that member of Congress will like, feel free to do that.
You have a number, HR something or other.
Yeah, they're actually in the call list. They're just below the script, I believe. At least in my.
That's right. So Raphael is right. Do you see that, Raphael? Do you want to say what those are?
Is the House Government by the People Act, HR 20, and Empowering Citizens Act, HR 424.
HR 20 and HR 424.
Correct.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
The other ones are proposals from what I see. Some of them are very encompassing, and they might have too much. I agree with them, but some of them might have too much information. I wish. It's right on with my thinking, in any case.
What are the numbers of those? I don't mind reading.
No, they don't have. They only have names and proposals. I guess they're not submitted in Congress.
I don't mind writing that down.
So yeah, if you go to the call list, they're there. I'm saving this page. Put a quick bookmark in my iPad so I can get to them right away.
That's great. Yeah, if you go to Call Congress, or if you go to mayday.us/call and go and click call, or actually even if you don't click call, it has that list of proposals right there. So mayday.us/call is all that information. So thank you, Raphael, for explaining those.
Yeah, thank you, Raphael.
All right, you're welcome.
Any more questions or thoughts about this tool or even the campaign in general and how you're feeling about it?
Positive. And with that word, I think I will sign off. And thanks a lot for what you've done.
Bye, Don. Nice meeting you.
Thank you for what you're doing.
See you later. Bye.
Right.
Raphael, how are you feeling about the campaign?
It's good. I think I want to see more traction, obviously. I don't know the extent of how many other people are involved. But I keep calling. Slowly but surely, we have to continue with this and see if we can make a difference.
Thank you. Do you think it would be useful if we, if there was an email that went out, let's say every day or a few times a week to people who have made calls or are interested in making calls, that was like a reminder to use the call tool again to just make some more calls? Would that be helpful or would that be annoying? What do you think?
I'm just beginning on this. I just got an email yesterday, and I wasn't really aware of this. I guess I have not been in the website often enough. Right now, I have it on my Google Plus. I believe you have a Google Plus, and I put it on my Twitter follow. So I want to be up to date by following those the Twitter. If that's a way that you're going to be publishing, I think people will go there, and probably a reminder, I think, once a week. I think if it's done too often, and again, it depends on the person, it might be too much or too little. It's hard to tell. Maybe don't let it be more than 10 days or 2 weeks. How's that, at most? And that's just general first try from my perspective. But you're closer to the people. You talk to more people, obviously, than me. So.
Well, you are one of the people, so that's the best perspective, and we're really grateful for your help and for your thoughts. And if you think of anything else, please feel free to let me know. I'm noticing that we've been on now for an hour, which was more than I anticipated, but we had some really good discussion and some good problem solving. So thank you for that, Raphael. Rebecca, any closing thoughts?
No, Benj, I think you just covered everything great.
Okay. All right. Well, Raphael and anyone who's watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in, and thank you Raphael, and everyone who was on the call. Thank you to Antonio. Thank you to Cheryl. Thank you to Don. Thank you to Tim, Dr. Bradley, Sarah, and everyone else. So let's keep making those calls every day, every other day, every week, however often you can do it. Every little bit pushes us closer to getting majority in Congress, so that when it comes election time, we can make it clear that reform is possible. On that note, I'll make one more effort to share Larry's video.
I did see it, by the way. So.
Oh, how did you get a chance?
I forgot how I got there, but it was via one of the links in one of the emails. I got there. I don't remember exactly how.
Oh, great! So you saw the trailer. So other people probably got a chance to see it too.
Yeah.
All right, great. Then I won't show it, and I'll for the next town hall, we'll make sure we get the YouTube plugin working. So, all right, thank you guys.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you're doing.
Bye, Benj. Bye, Raphael.
All right.
Thanks for what you're doing, Raphael. Talk to you soon.
All right. Good night.
Good night.